last year, highlight some of the foundation's goals and aspirations for the upcoming year, as well as probably the most exciting part, introduce our new Victory Scholar class. I want to start by sharing a quote which we use on our marketing materials and one that resonates well with me and everyone who works and supports the foundation. It is a quote from Nelson Mandela. "Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to unite in a way that little else does. It speaks to the youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. It is more powerful than governments in breaking down racial barriers. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination. Sport Changes Life's mission is to aid in the development of young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. With an innovative blend of sports, academic excellence, and community outreach, Sport Changes Life is able to groom and develop the next generation's leaders." The mission is delivered through the Victory Scholarship Program. The Victory Scholarship Program awards deserving American student athletes the opportunity to pursue a postgraduate degree while continuing to play the sport they love and providing the inspiration needed to have a real impact on the lives of these young people. Speaking of real impact, I'll share a quick story with you about an opportunity I had while I was a Victory Scholar. It was our first day on the community outreach, the eHoops program, and I was tasked with pairing the kids for an activity. To give you some context, these kids came from a divided community, and we strategically selected 15 kids from each side of the divide. You can see where the story is going. You may say 15 and 15 equals 30, so it must make it easy for pairing. Well, that's not how these kids saw it. They saw it as 15 of us, 15 of them. So there were 2 lucky kids who weren't paired up at the end. And I simply said, "Hey, you 2 work together." And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. But what these kids didn't understand is that they could work together. And in fact, to make a long story short, 3 months later, these same 2 kids were working on a project together and working effectively together. And this is because of a well-thought-out program used to demonstrate to these kids that, in fact, working together, they can accomplish the task. This is a real testimony to the impact that the Scholar Program has on these young people. To further demonstrate the impact that the foundation has made in the community, I will share with you a few numbers that the PSNI, which is the Public Service of Northern Ireland, identified that the organization was making a real impact by having a presence in these different communities. The crime rates went down dramatically. And given the news is spreading of the impact of the organization, our hope is to continue expanding our reach and making deeper impact and reaching more communities and youth at risk. With that said, it's an exciting time to be a part of Sport Changes Life. We're growing our presence here in the state and recently established a U.S. Board of Directors in addition to an already established Northern Ireland Board of Directors, which will focus on growing the organization's presence here in the States, as well as assisting with the ongoing operations of the foundation. I'd like to take a moment to introduce some of our members that are with us today. We have CEO and co-founder of the organization, Gareth McGuire. We have chairman of the organization, Brendan Wooten. Former scholar and now current board member, Matthew Graves. As mentioned, Sport Changes Life has partnered with several athletic conferences, including the Patriot League, Atlantic 10, MAC, and as well as partnering with the Philadelphia Big Five. These partnerships are crucial to the organization's success by attracting the best candidates for the program. These conferences proven to produce great student athletes for the program that can have a real impact on the ground in Ireland. We have several representatives from the conferences today. Jill Redmond from the Atlantic 10, in the back. Jordan Confessore from the MAC. As you can see, we have a well-established and growing group of individuals who believe in the real impact of the organization and what it can make and has made on the lives of not only the youth in Ireland, but also the American scholars who get the opportunity to participate in the program. These scholars, who I will introduce later, embody the characteristics that are at the core of the organization, one of the most significant characteristics being leadership. And tonight we are lucky enough to have with us someone who has demonstrated leadership, in particular at a very high level and for a sustained period of time. Coach Morgan Wooten, only one of 2 high school basketball coaches ever elected into the National Basketball Hall of Fame, was the basketball coach at DeMatha High School for 46 years, from 1956 to 2002. During that time, Coach Wooten had an impressive record of 1,274 wins and 192 losses, a winning percentage of 87%, becoming the first coach at any level, high school, college, or pro, to reach 1,200 wins. Coach Wooten has won 5 national high school championships, 33 conference championships, and notably beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's team to break their 71-game winning streak. Yeah. Coach Wooten was selected by ESPN as one of the top coaches of the 20th century. The late UCLA basketball coach John Wooden had this to say about Coach Wooten: I know of no finer coach at any level, high school, college, or pro, and I stand in awe of him. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Coach Morgan Wooten.
Thank you for those very, very kind words. Can everybody hear me all right? I've been in front of more dead mics lately than an Irish undertaker. But it's really an honor to be here, and very humbling to hear all those nice things said. But I'm lucky. I've got a lot of grandchildren, and they keep me humble. In fact, my grandson, Nick, when he was in kindergarten, they asked everybody to write down their favorite sport. So he wrote down baseball. And the teacher said, Nick, why'd you write down baseball? He said, well, my father's a great baseball player. He can teach me to be a good baseball player. She said, well, I thought maybe you might write down basketball. He said, oh, no, I don't know anybody that knows anything about basketball. And she said, it's a true story. She said, well, you know, a lot of people think your grandfather knows something about basketball. He said, oh, no, I go to all his games and he never gets in. Got to think about that for a while, right? I did ask, when Brendan invited me up, I asked him, could I get a standing ovation? And I'm sorry he pulled all the chairs on you, but so I won't go long. I cut everything in half when I saw the chairs disappeared. But I would like to obviously run just a few thoughts by you, which hopes to have some impact as I work on my light here. Sports changes life. All of you that are involved in that, what an awesome thing. Keep it up. You're touching lives. You know, most people don't get to touch lives. Disraeli, the great British Prime Minister, said most people that should live lives of quiet desperation. They never really make an impact on everybody. But you are touching lives, lives you don't even know about. And long after you're gone, they will continue to touch lives because they learned, because you were good enough to stand behind them and make it happen. So keep up your great work. I just think that's terrific. Again, working on my light up here, the Victor Scholars. I really want to congratulate you. And you're the ones that my remarks are going to really be aimed at here, not long, but real sincere. You are the key. You get to touch lives. You get to make a difference. You know, I was very, very lucky, and let me say this to the Victor Scholars, but I think maybe an impact on the whole room. My very first year at DeMatha, 1956, I was fortunate to come to New York and have lunch with Joe Lapchick. Now, for those of you that may not know who Joe Lapchick is, he's considered to be one of the 4 founding fathers of the game of basketball. Naismith invented the game, we know that. Clairby wrote about it a lot. But Lapchick came along, and he was the first guy to really be a pro. And he started the whole idea of professional basketball. Then he went on to be a great coach at St. John's College. So great pro, great college coach, one of the founding fathers. And here, in his later years, I got to have lunch with him the first year I was going to be a high school coach. What an honor. He told me two things I never forgot, Victor Scholars. He said, number one, a player will never forget their coach. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are, but it really does. They'll always remember you. Now, how they remember you will be up to you. But you're touching their lives. They will have an opinion of you that will stay with them as long as they live. I've had kids come back to me 30, 40, 50 years ago and say, Coach, I never forget the time you said this. I never forget the time you did that. They'll never forget you. And he said, secondly, what it's really all about 15, 20, 25 years later is when they do come back with a big smile and they just say, hi, Coach. So that means everything. So remember that. They'll never forget you. Hopefully, the memories will be awesome. Hopefully, the memories will be so positive, it'll make your heart swell. Every now and then you get a loser involved where it doesn't turn out that way. But I don't think I'm talking to any losers tonight. Let me say that. Let me, if I could then, just share one of my favorite words with you. The word is champ. C-H-A-M-P. Champ. And the letter C stands for the challenges of life. The challenge that we all face, everyone in this room. We face challenges each and every day. When we get knocked down, get back up. Adversity is your greatest asset. It's great to see how people act when adversity strikes. The winners get up, the losers roll in the mud. So when you meet these challenges of life, make sure you get back up. Make sure you do the right thing. Most important. Those great words of Winston Churchill, probably the greatest graduation address ever given. Never give in, never give in, never, ever, ever give in. Never give in to anything, great or small, large or petty. Never give in except to convictions of honor and common sense. And people that meet the challenges of life, that's how they handle that type of thing. Most important. I think also in a final breakdown of the letter C in the word champ, are you going to run your life or are you going to let somebody else run it for you? Are you going to make the calls or are you going to let somebody else make the calls? You make sure that you do that real good job. So the letter C is for the challenges that we all face each and every day of our life. C-H. H is help. We all need help. Every day of our life and everything that we do, never be afraid to ask for help. We all need it. Kind of reminds me of the story of these two hippies who were in a canoe out in 60 feet of water. The canoe tipped over, and one of the hippies started screaming, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. And the other one said, swim, baby, swim. He says, I can't swim. He says, fake it. You can't fake it. If you need help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. You know, we learn from everybody we meet. We learn from everybody. Now, most cases we may learn what not to do, right? But we learn from everybody we meet. Never forget that. If you're in a position of authority, make sure they're learning the right things from you. I think that's really, really important. So H is for help. Keep in mind, too, when we talk about help, nothing in excess. All those that do things in excess, they don't turn out to be the winners that we're talking about. Don't do what is popular. Do what is right. And with help, you can get those things done. After all, life is really just one small victory after another. That's the beautiful thing. As Kathy, my beautiful wife, knows, one of my favorite sayings is, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's really hard. And so, you know, you go along inch by inch and you keep getting it done. You can be in great shape, no question about it. So C-H, H is for help. C-H-A. A is for adherence to the rules. Adherence to the rules. I don't know what your rules are, but everybody has rules that they live by. I kind of love those 10 that Moses got on a mountain a long time ago. They've worked pretty good for me. But each person determines what rules they want anyhow, and they use them to go along. But a person who's got a good set of rules, they got a real feel of the game. They got a fix on life. So make sure that you've got a good set of rules. Do not be afraid to be unique. In fact, it's fun to be unique. Do not be afraid to try. Remember, success is never final, and failure is never permanent. Only for the losers is it permanent. So no matter, and we meet them both, and we got to treat them both the same, right, as we go along. It's probably not what we know, it's how we use with what we know that really counts. So A is adherence to the rules, as we spell the word CHAMP. C-H-A-M. M is for maximum effort. All the winners, scholars, all the winners make a maximum effort. They give it their finest shot. They play to win. They set their goals high. The old saying goes, it's not that we set our goals too high and miss, we set them too low and make it.